This is MaryBeth Svatek. She's a hypnotherapist and life coach. She has an MA in psychology. She's worked extensively as a therapist and counselor. What advice would you have to people if they also have children saying things that may hint towards past lives?
I've seen it, especially in the Christian community, and they want to dismiss it. You don't have to believe in it. But what you can do is say, what do you see? Okay, so you had different parents. I mean, there's kids who remember places, they can remember being killed in a car accident. There's kids who remember jumping off the building on 9/11. I don't know if you've heard of that, but they're running up the stairs as firemen. But I've seen it too with kids. Some of my own clients have told me that about kids. I haven't worked with the kids personally. I don't recommend hypnotizing a child. I would say don't say, were you afraid of ditches? Just say, well, what is it about that scares you? Okay, so what is it about digging those ditches that scare you? Ask questions. Don't give them, are you afraid that they're going to throw you in? Even though that is what I was afraid of, let the kid tell you that. So that's the biggest thing. I would say ask leading questions and then assure them that, you know what, but you're with this mommy and daddy now, and this is how we're going to do things now. And assure them that it's okay to talk to them. I know that there was one family that would say, well, this kid always lies. He tells stories. And the kid was about 4 years old, and they would say, stop telling these lies, stop telling these stories. But if you listen to the stories, it was like, well, when I used to smoke a pipe, then, so you start wondering, no one in their family smokes. So how is this 4-year-old talking about smoking a pipe and how it used to make his lip numb?
Yeah. I think that's really useful. I think there's a part there, and that comes again to like not diagnosing them as a liar.
Right.
So, and then we're applying a label,
Right.
and then that label becomes harmful.
They become a blockage, an obstacle, because once you have that label, it causes self-doubt. And a lot of it, I think, with just talking them through it, then eventually they'll be able to transition into this life and move forward.
Exactly. You don't have to call them a liar, but you also don't have to say that's absolutely true. I'm totally on board with it and run with it. And so even that part about you don't have to hypnotize kids, and I'd agree with that as well, because you don't have, it really comes down to that judgment. It's right or wrong that they say that. It's good or bad.
Right.
Just let them say what they want to say. It could only be they've only got a few more sentences to say, have that little interaction that lets them let it go, and then it's over and done within 2 minutes, instead of being suppressed and affecting them for the rest of their life.
Exactly.
And you don't need to over buy into it by saying you're not a liar, you're a truth teller. Now we're going to put you on and we're going to make them do the dance of telling all about it and regressing and finding out every detail. So for me, I think it's really important that children, that you allow that little bit of extra conversation to bring a resolution and a closure to it. You can just say, I think they're going to kill me, and you go and talk to them and they're not. And then you realize, that they are not the Nazis. It's like you said in the relationships, the woman, you have to prove to the woman you were trying to date that you're not the guy she used to date.
Right.
And it's the same thing. You have to, the laborer had to prove that he's, say he's not a Nazi, but then you were able to very quickly accept that, and then you're good for that aspect of it. And then you're able to move on. And so that's a skillful way to deal with it. And you don't need to, and one of the difficulties is if you, buy in too much to it with children, is that it's to really to let it go and be the past.
Yes, because you don't want them identifying that's their truth and they're sticking to it.
Because that is a past life that they've got to, and they're still new into this life, and they've got to start developing into this life, not being confused about having two identities.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.